Good morning. This is Margaret Fetty at the University of Sewing, and this is Facebook Live. And with me is my trusty sidekick, Denise.
Good morning.
So Denise, we just had our first block of the month Zoom meeting recently, didn't we?
My goodness. It's going to be so cool. I'm so excited about this project.
So I wanted to let people know, if you're still thinking about the block of the month, we're out of the whole kits, but we do have a lot of fabric that is left over from not having all the kits, and we have the patterns.
We do.
So you can still join in. There's only a couple of each of those. So, you know, what you might have to do is replace one fabric, or we can, I probably actually can get some of the other fabric. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But if there's someone really interested, but this might be the perfect thing for the person who didn't really maybe like the fabric.
Sure, absolutely.
So since we have a couple of patterns, that might be a good thing for someone who wants to throw their own fabric into the mix. We also have a nice amount of the backing still available.
And the backing is beautiful.
That's Denise's favorite.
It is my favorite, and they put it on the back.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So wanted to tell you about that, but today is our last Friday of January. Can you believe that?
I don't know how I feel about that. How do you feel about that?
I just think that the month of January went so fast. I'm not sure I was there. So
I think we were there.
We were there?
I'm pretty sure.
All right. So anyway, I want to make sure that you guys know that we have a lot of sewing machines still for sale, and it is really a nice deal on some of them. But the really good deals are going on are our demo machines, our classroom machines, and we've got two other machines that are just like, I can't believe they're still here. We have a 770, just a traditional 770. It's our last one. We have made very good deals on those machines.
Yep.
So this one's a really good deal for someone who's wanting a 7 series. And you know, we've got those embroidery units, and in just a few days, we are in February, which is embroidery month.
Yes, it is.
So we've got some great deals coming up on embroidery machines. We've got some great deals coming up on software. So you guys, you know, this is an amazing time to get a sewing machine. We don't normally have this much stock, so I want to get them in your hands.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's go over here. Yes, they do. So let's go over here and let's talk about a couple of machines that are really good deals. We've got a couple of classroom 480s.
I love these 480s.
These 480s are down to $24.99 from $31.99.
Wow.
Or excuse me, $31.49. I apologize.
Wow.
There we go. So we have a 500 here, and I can't remember the price on it. Can you look at that for me?
I would love to.
I would be very grateful.
Margaret, you got to take a break here.
I have to take a break?
Well, we've got people on board. They're sharing.
Oh, you guys are the best. Oh, you're sharing. And where's our prizes?
Oh, over at the other.
Okay, so we'll have to do. Let Denise find the 500, but we've got prizes for this morning. We've got a pattern and a cool little seam ripper tool that we're going to be giving away. So you guys share away, please, because that makes sure that people know about us. You know, January is clearance month, and if you haven't gone to our website and looked at the on sale, when you hit the shop button, it has a drop-down menu. There's latest arrivals. You can check out that Modern Love by Northcott there. And the next thing you'll come to is on sale. So we have some really, really lovely things in that on sale thing. I know it's over 300 items now, but we also just took a number of things and moved them from yardages to endables. So look at those too, because there's some great things. But guess what? If you buy anything on the on sale part right now and you add the coupon code SALE, yes, S-A-L-E, SALE, you'll get an additional 15% off. We want these things to go home with you. Okay, our 500 demo is $45.99, and its regular price is, oh, she didn't give me the regular price. It will. You just have to look at it a little closer. It's on there. So the MSRP. So It should be on there. So I'm pretty sure that that machine is typically in the $6,000 range. Why don't you look on our website? So
I do like our website.
our website's pretty nice. So our website's pretty nice. So it'll be helpful. So, but I know that this is marked down pretty good. So what's the MSRP? Do we find it yet?
We're still looking. There's a lot of machines on our website.
Oh
Margaret.
my goodness. Oh my goodness. So all you have to do is put 500 in
Yeah.
there. So sometimes it's a little challenging
There's
because
so much.
there we go.
Oh, that's the regular.
This is the MSRP is $45.99, and the actual price that we're asking for it is just $36.99. So if you're looking for a cool little embroidery, you know, what a deal is that? Okay, let's take a trip over here. And don't forget, anytime you buy a sewing machine from us, I'll bet a lot of people don't realize this, Denise.
What's that?
When you buy a sewing machine from us that day, anything else you buy, you get 20% off.
That's not quite the best deal of buying a sewing machine. That's a really good deal. But you know what my favorite part about buying a sewing machine from us, from the University of Sewing? You get us.
We do. And you know, the cool thing is right now, we are happy to do one-on-one lessons, but we're also doing some group lessons. So if you want to come in and figure out, you know, if you're going to get a machine and you're just still a little bit leery of a group class, don't worry about that. And you know what? I am going to be really tempted to maybe keep that up. I love working one-on-one with our customers.
Absolutely.
They're so nice. I love doing that. It makes me really happy to get to know them better, figuring out what they need to know about their sewing machine, because, you know, I love to sew clothes. That's my thing. But I also like doing quilts from time to time.
Sure.
So for me, I want the whole thing.
Absolutely.
But if you never sew clothes, maybe you don't need to know how to do a blind hem.
Absolutely. That makes perfect
And
sense.
so does it make sense for me to take up your time? Because I think all of our time is precious. Does it make sense to do that? Now, that does not mean that I will never teach you how to do a blind hem. But if you don't need it right now, I don't need to teach it to you right now. So that's a really cool thing. And I really do know our machines, and I love to sew on them, and I love to show people what's so special about them. So we're going to come over here.
We got a question though, and this would be probably for Denise.
Oh.
Ashley is asking, would you do a class for homeschool kiddos?
Oh.
My niece and daughter would love to do a class.
I would be thrilled to pieces to do that, Ashley. If you will send me an email at info@universityofsewing.com, you and I can work out the details on that. I love teaching kids, and that would be perfect. Yes.
That's her favorite thing to do.
It is my favorite thing. It is my favorite thing.
So, all right. This is the last one we have.
Aww.
It's time for it to go home with you.
Doesn't it look sad?
It looks
needs a
sad
home.
because it doesn't have a
It
home.
wants to be loved.
It wants to be loved. And you know what? This machine has always been $6,999. We are selling it for $53.99.
Wow.
It's a really good deal right now.
Wow.
Now, okay, so we have a surprise.
Oh, I saw something about a surprise, on
surprise.
an email.
It's
Oh,
here.
it is here.
It's here. The
Plus.
770 Plus. Now, what is the big difference between the 770 and the 770 Plus? Well,
That's $1 million question.
it
Margaret.
is $1 million question. And so what is really cool about this new, and the most obvious thing, is this screen.
I do love that big screen.
That big screen is huge. Those of us whose eyes are not getting better with age,
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
don't know what.
I have no idea.
That's just what it is. This big screen is super. So you have that. By the way, we only have 2 of these. It looks like we have 3, but we only have 2
have 2.
because we sold one to our lovely friend Janice. She's going to be so excited. She might even be watching
She
today.
is.
So
Good morning,
your
Jan.
machine came in. We can't wait to get it to you. I was going to call you right after the show this morning. I wanted to make sure it was perfect and it's all ready to go. So it's all boxed up and ready for you, Janice, and we can't wait to see you. But we have 2 more. And who knows when we'll get the other ones in.
Well, that's true, too. That's true.
So if you've been thinking about this, you and your best friend.
You mean
Yeah,
me
me and you. We could each get one of these. That's a cool idea. You and your best friend, you and your sister.
Absolutely. Your neighbor?
Well, you know, I have had now 3 sets of women
Yes.
come in
Yes.
and buy 770s so that they could both have the same machine and talk to each other. And some of them were sisters that live in
love
different states,
Yes.
and they wanted to have the same
Yes,
machine. Is
yes.
that not the greatest?
And you know what, Margaret? Friends don't let friends sew alone.
That's
So,
exactly right.
yeah.
And you know, with now the Zoom technology
Right.
and FaceTime, we can do those things. It's
Yes.
really fun.
Yes.
Okay, so Dave is he loves to point this out to people. If you're thinking that, oh, I don't know, should I get this? What I'm going to tell you right now, did that husband of yours, did he buy a bass boat? Did he buy a big truck? Has he got one of these amazing 4-wheelers things? I'll tell you what, all of those things, if you compare them against our sewing machines, we don't spend as much as they do. We just don't. When boys buy toys, they buy big.
That's very, very true.
It is
Yeah,
very true.
very true.
And I'm guessing none of your sewing machines cost what the big truck costs.
Oh, heck no. No. I think even when we added them all up, no.
So when you're thinking about this, do you deserve the wonderful sewing machine? Of course you do.
Of course you do. Silly
Of
question.
course you
Of course
do.
you do.
Of course you do. You're wonderful, and you deserve the wonderful machine. So you should think about, oh, by the way, we have a free trial on the Bernina software. It is the version 8 software that you can go right onto Bernina's website and try for 30 days and see if it is something you'll enjoy.
Margaret, is it the 8 or is it the 9?
It's the 9.
Oh, okay.
It's
All right.
the 9. It's the
Okay.
version
I
9.
think you said 8.
Did I say the 8?
You did.
Oh, so sorry.
Nope, it's
okay,
the most
well,
current.
that's why I need these guys, because I do stuff like that.
We're a good
You know,
team.
and the other thing is, I think one of the things that maybe our customers appreciate is I'm not always perfect. Am I always perfect? No. I'm human. I'm just like them. So I've
We all
made
are.
all the
Every one of
mistakes.
us.
I've made all the mistakes. I've done all the things. So I hopefully can help you avoid some of them.
Yes.
So this is really cool. You can get this to try out if you're thinking about it. We also are doing software inspiration as an in-store class. And our first class went really well. The customers really enjoyed it.
I heard it was fantastic.
And everybody had wonderful questions. We also have a Garment Academy class that's coming up. You guys should really look at those. You don't have to go to every one. You don't have to do them in order. You can go to whatever ones you want. Those classes have been well received. So those two.
Absolutely.
Some of our other classes a little light on the turnouts, but we've been really pleased, and we'll be adding more classes. I want to remind you guys, Vanita McCall is coming, and we'll talk more about her next month, but she is coming at the beginning of April we're going to do a mastery make on our Bernina sewing machines.
I love
and there's a
Bernina.
bunch
Good
of
morning,
embroidery
Bernina.
stuff on that, so that's going to be really exciting. 700 embroidery unit. We'll focus more.
gorgeous.
We'll focus more on her next month. But I remind you all, embroidery month is coming up. We've got some deals. Oh, there's our giveaway.
We do
Okay.
have a giveaway.
So we have this really cool pattern. You know what I love about this pattern? Jelly roll. It very, very well works with your jelly rolls.
Absolutely.
But the other thing is, this would make a wonderful scrap quilt.
That's what I was thinking. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful scrap quilt. So the TikTok pattern is one of the things you will get. The other thing you will get is this darling little Riley Blake seam ripper.
So today's a twofer.
It's a
giveaway.
twofer.
I love it.
It's a twofer.
I love it.
So does not matter where you live. We'll drop it in the mail for you. Please share. We really appreciate it. Last week, we got an order from Montana.
Our first order from Montana.
Thank you, Montana. We also got one outside of the Pittsburgh area, and that's where I grew up, so that was kind of fun. You know, so I'm loving seeing all these different things going all over the country. Thank you, every one of you, for sharing.
And how about the big ones you shipped?
Well,
Oh,
yes, even
well,
our block of the month. So we
That's
have
what Denise was getting ready to say.
we have one lady that's local, so Pat will be joining us. We have one lady from up near Chicago in the Gary area. We have Elaine, who's in the Bronx. We've got Debbie out in Seattle. Debbie talked another friend of hers from Seattle into joining us. And then we've got another lovely customer from Virginia. So we've got two Indiana ladies and everybody else from one end of the country to the other joining us.
So fun.
It's
and
really
so
cool. It's really
really fun. Okay. All right. So we've had a number of customers who've been asking us about the foot thing. And I told you guys I'm going to start doing a demo with every one of these Fridays.
Wonderful.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about, oh, you know what I forgot to get, Denise?
What's that?
Fabric.
Oh, I can help you with that.
So if you can get me, go over in our little stash of fabric. Wool would be nice, 2 pieces of wool, and the other just 2 pieces of cotton.
Gotcha.
Okay.
No bad.
And no, I don't need any batting. Because I want to point out something to you folks. So, this was one of the machines I wanted to make sure you knew about for our clearance sale. This 790 edition, it comes with an embroidery unit. It comes with all the 790 pluses that you would normally get in the scheme of things. What it doesn't come with is all those special extras that they had when the 790 special edition came out last year. So it's just the machine and its embroidery unit and your typical expectations of what you get with a 790. This machine normally runs $12,999. We have got it right now for $8,999. It is a superb sewing machine. It's got all the space of the 7s that you expect, and it is just a lovely, lovely machine. It's in perfect order and has a full warranty. So if you've been kind of thinking you might want to upgrade, this is quite the deal. So I am going to show you today about using your walking foot, because what I wanted people to understand is your walking foot isn't just for quilting, although that's amazing and wonderful, don't get me wrong. When you get the box, and a lot of people think that sometimes Bernina feet are expensive, I just want you to understand what a value this is. So this walking foot, we have these both for the legacy machines and the current machines. And the current machines, you can tell the walking foot because it has this wonderful little edge around it. And they are designed to work with the machines that have the dual feed. The legacy machine feet are more designed for the older artistas and those machines and that group. What this walking foot has, and people often will ask me, well, what is even a walking foot? And so the walking foot, what it does is it has little rubber feet on it right here and here. And those rubber feet make contact with your fabric and they help feed it. And they are wonderful because if you've ever sewn something and you end up, you know you've cut it accurately, but what has happened is when you've cut it, they're both the same size, but sometimes when you sew it, what you'll end up with is it looking like this at the bottom. There'll be the 2 different edges and they'll come out differently. Well, that's because of a couple of things, but one of the main reasons is the bottom fabric feeds at a different speed than the top fabric because your feed dogs are right here. So your feed dogs feed through the bottom fabric at a different pace than the top fabric, and the top fabric tends to drag. So if you are sewing something like some substantial wool, or even you're sewing some cottons together and you're wondering, well, why is this not coming out even? I know these are cut identical, and you want to fix that. And maybe it's the kind of situation, especially for those of you who have an older machine. By the way, walking feet are made for every brand, and so it doesn't just have to be talking about a Bernina sewing machine. But you can go ahead and get a walking foot for almost every brand of sewing machine on the market. Our Bernettes have them, and I know that the other makes and models out on the market have them. But to get back with what you will get when you buy a Bernina walking foot is you're going to get 3 different soles for your walking foot. I have put a sole, this one is very much like a number 1 foot. It has that little piece of metal. It's set up to do either zigzag or straight stitch. This one is set up with a little guide edge, and hopefully that's visible. That little guide, what it does can sit along the edge of your fabric so you can do top stitching very accurately. It also has this piece that would fit on the back of the walking foot, and I'm not going to put this all together because we don't have enough time today. But this would fit on the back of the walking foot. Oh, I think it goes this way actually. It goes on the back of the walking foot like that. And then what you do is you have guides, a right side or a left sided guide, and you put, come on, we can do it, little guy. So, oh, I said I wasn't going to do it, but it's actually not taking that long to do. So you can set this up so you can do your, especially if you're doing quilting, you can set this up so that you can have a perfect guide in getting your quilting lines together. And for some reason, mostly probably because I'm on here with you guys, I'm not getting it in there. You know what, we're gonna take and bring out the glasses, because that's probably the biggest problem. So we are gonna get that little dude in there. Oh no, dear, dear. It seems like it should go in. There it is. All right. So that's how that works. So this is, you adjust it to where you want. You screw the screw down tight, and then it won't move. And see, it won't move. And then you'd have that on there. So since that is going to be in the way of what I want to show you, I want to make sure, oh, by the way, when you want to change the feet, there's the little screw we would loosen up to change the feet. But I like this one because it's got this opening. It's much like a number 20 foot. Now, there is a little bit of a trick to putting these on, and I thought it might be helpful if I show you this today, because if you've got one and you haven't used it yet, this might be handy for you. Number 1, please make sure your foot is in the upright position. You can't put this on if your foot isn't up. If you have a machine that is a 3 series and you're going to use this, put your feed dogs down. It will make it easier. There seems to be a little bit more room with the 7 and the 5 series, but what you do is this arm has to go around your needle bar. So there's it going around my needle bar. And then what we're going to do is make sure that that other part goes up on the cone, just like your foot would go up on a cone. And there we go. It's ready to go. So now I just put my thread underneath here. I am set and ready to go, except for my machine is going to want to know that I just put the number 50 foot on it. And there we go. We're going to tell it it's got the number 50 foot on it so that it is happy. And look, it even put a picture of the 50 foot on there. So what's going to happen now, I can take my different layers of wool and I can put them on here. And most of the time with wool, you'd probably be sewing a 5/8 inch seam allowance. And so we're going to sew, we're going to back stitch like any good stitcher would do on a seam allowance. And we're going to go down the strip here. Make sure our layers are together. We're gonna cut our threads. And perfect. Everything except for I didn't hold my thread. Did you see that? Bad, Margaret. So there it is, perfectly aligned. And if you've ever sewn wool or just even some knits, any kind of fabric that tends to be a little wiggly and wishy on you, this is so helpful. But the other thing is too, is if you're having problems with your piecing and your piecing isn't going along the way you'd like, the same exact thing can happen here with doing that. And this time we're going to be good and we're going to hold our thread. Oh my goodness. We are going to, if we can get a hold of it. So hold on, I'm going to put that foot back up so I can grab a hold of that thread. There we go. Now I have something I can hold on to when I start this. We're going to put this down. I'm going to go along and now the only problem with this is this isn't a 1/4 inch wide. So if you're going to do this, you've got to find out where your 1/4 inch wide is going to be. So fortunately, with something like a 790, you can very easily change how hard it's pressing down on your fabric. You can also change, so you might not have to use a walking foot is what I mean for cottons. You can change that and you can go ahead, make sure you're using a Microtex needle. It will help a lot in piecing. And then use something like a 37, a 57, or a 97 foot to do your piecing. And you probably will, as long as you can adjust how hard it's pressing down the fabric, you can probably make sure that it actually feeds through and doesn't do the shifting and so forth.
I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Of course, our lovely Alice is watching this morning, and she made a comment that this jacket she put together using the walking foot.
And she did all of her quilting with the walking foot, I'm guessing.
Not the assembly, but yes.
So, well, she might have done some of the assembly, believe it or not, because of all how thick it is.
Well, that would make sense.
It really does make a lot of sense. So she did some quilting in here, and, you know, some of this quilting actually looks like it was done by hand, Denise. I don't think this was quilted. I think she's talking about the construction.
Maybe she is. That would make sense then.
Yeah,
you're
this
right.
was hand quilted.
That's true.
So I think what she's talking about is like when she did her top stitching here and when she put the layers together, because these kind of layers, they will definitely shift on you when you're going and doing any kind of sewing.
Right.
So if you're working on a project and you're having to struggle with it and you wonder why, could a walking foot potentially help you? And you might consider that for your next project. So I wanted to show you so you could see that removing it is always easier than putting it on. Sometimes I feel like putting it on, you have to be patting your belly and rubbing your head at the same time. But for taking it off, it just requires you to take and push that little lever in the back to remove your foot, and there it comes right off. It is a wonderful foot. When I buy a sewing machine, there's 2 feet I always buy. The walking foot is one of them. And I think that you will find that it is well worth the price. These are very well designed. They will last you as long as you own the machine, as long as you aren't brutal to it. It is a wonderful, wonderful piece of equipment. And that other sole that it's got with this little blade, that top stitching that I was talking about, this really helps you get your needle aligned where you want, and then you can keep that edge right along things. And boy, your top stitching, especially if you're doing a jacket or something like that, gorgeous. And I'm guessing that that's one of the things that Alice used it for. I hope that that is a helpful hint for you. I hope that explains why there's so much that comes in this box, and it's really helpful. There's a lot of videos online that show you how to use a Bernina walking foot. I believe we've got one that shows you just how to use this online in our YouTube channel. And if not, we're going to get one of those out there pretty soon. Actually, we'll probably take a little bit of this out as an outtake and do that. So if you have any questions about it, if you're wondering if it's worthwhile for the projects you've got, you're always welcome to give us a quick email at info@universityofsewing.com, and we'd be happy to help you. But please think about coming in and demoing the machine of your dreams, because we'd love to get you into a Bernina, and I know you'll love it. Oh, look for an email. If you're not on our email list, get on our email list, because on Monday, I'm going to be introducing my friend Whitney Luckenbill. Whitney is, she's so fun, and you will love her. And she and I have been friends for years, and she now has a very popular YouTube channel, and she is putting out 3 videos a week, and you need to meet her. We're going to be introducing her on our video, and then we'll send you over to her lovely videos, and you will just think she is a ball. And if you're thinking about getting into clothes, or you're just getting into clothes, she's going to be a really wonderful asset for you. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow on Facebook Live.